Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I'm your yarn hosted Jennifer. I made a purchase. I made an expensive purchase and I am going to review to you with what I purchased. I'm going to be completely honest about my review, as I try to always be honest in my reviews. I spent way too much money on what this is and I have a little bit of regret. Mr. Cinnamon doesn't want me to have regret, but after seeing it in person, it's not as glamorous as what I thought it was going to be. I will say this, it is a Furls video. I am a Furls affiliate. If you purchase anything with my Furls link, I do make a small percentage back that helps support the channel. Furls hooks are expensive, especially the one that I purchased. This is a Furls Alpha series. I got sucked in. I kind of feel like I got played a little bit. We're going to give this a fair shake though. My first instinct when I opened this was disappointment, and I will show you why. But I'm going to give this a fair shake, and I am going to work with it, and I'm going to tell you for a fact whether I like it or love it or hate it or regret it from unboxing this. And this is the, what was the name of this one? It was a limited release. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. It came in a fancy pants box. This hook was on sale. I believe I paid $80 for it on sale. It is beautiful. It is part wood, part resin. I got an L hook. They only made 100, so this was a very limited release. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It's beautiful. When I saw how big this was, I was disappointed because it is very small. And for the amount of money that I paid for this hook, like it retailed for 120 something, and then I had like 20% off or 25% off or something. And when I felt it in my hand and I looked at it, I was disappointed. Why was I disappointed? These are my normal Furls hooks that I use all the time, that I'm absolutely in love with. I'm lined them up perfectly. Look at how much smaller that is. Now this might work if you have small hands, but for me, I like the Furls hooks because, and I should probably get a wood one instead. That is what I use the most often. It's the Odyssey. That's the wood. Wood versus wood. I'm trying to make that easy. That's like an inch smaller. I don't know why it has to be an inch smaller. Like, that doesn't make sense to me that it's so small when it's so much money. So my hand kind of swallows it. It does not feel real nice in my hand, which all the other Furls Odysseys fit. Like, this is what I like. I like that it fits here. This doesn't bother me. This does bother some people that it's so long. So if you like shorter hooks, you might like this one. Let's compare this to the size of just a regular metal hook. So it's a little bit taller than a Susan Bates hook. It is the same size as a boy. So, I mean, it's in the range of a metal hook with the size of it. But I like the longer Furls hook. So that was a disappointment to me. This is very lightweight. I expected it to feel a little more substantial, which I don't know why, because the wood hooks are so lightweight. These weigh nothing. Like, I can't even get this to register on my scale. It weighs that little. And this feels the same, as does the resin hooks that I have. As does the resin hooks that I have. So, it's very lightweight. Is it worth the money? I don't think it's worth the money. It is beautiful, though. I'm almost afraid to use it. I'm afraid I'm going to break it. Here, let's get a very up close look. See how it looks all rough there? That is completely smooth. All of this completely, you cannot feel that at all. It has a L clearly marked on it. It has the very typical Furls head where it's really sharp right there. It's very smooth. very lightweight, but I was disappointed by it, honestly. I was so excited to snag one of these. Um, I was very excited. I wanted this specific hook for a long time, and it's been out of stock for over a year. And to finally see it in stock, I was so excited. I just don't know that it's worth the money. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the table, and I'm going to film, and we're going to work this with some yarn. And I'm going to give you my honest opinion on how I feel about this hook. All right, guys, let's go down to the table. All right, so I want to give this hook, like I said, I want to give this hook a fair shot. So what I am going to do, I grabbed this little teeny tiny skein of my absolute favorite yarn. Although I might have to go grab a different yarn because I just realized this is an L hook and I may need a thicker yarn, but I do want to use a yarn that I love so that I can give this a fair shot. So I might not be able to use that because that's a DK. I wasn't thinking. But I was thinking, like, how awesome would it be? I have a bunch of these little pill-style balls, and I also have some from the Dollar Tree. Like, how awesome would it be to give these a purpose and to just work up, like, swatches with that? But, because I just realized this is an L hook, it needs a bigger yarn. So let me grab a bigger yarn. My yarn basket to the rescue. I reached in my scrap ball bin, and I grabbed some Serenity Chunky, which is a bulky weight yarn. Love this yarn, but because it's a ball, we don't want it to run around. I got my little yarn knit thing out. Tuck that in there. That way it stays on the table. Put that out of sight. Right, this is a bulky yarn. This has been in my scrap bin a while. This is a good yarn. This is a Premier Yarns yarn. I like it. So that gives us like all of the possibilities of whether we're going to like this hook or not. And if I don't like this yarn, I will absolutely find another yarn to give it a fair shot. Now, if you've worked with wood hooks before, you will know that they have a bit of drag on them. I am already feeling that. And at the end of this, I am absolutely going to come in with their regular wood hooks and compare it side by side, because there is a huge price difference between this Odyssey Alpha series and the Streamline, which is their wood ones. Now, I'm telling you already, I don't like that it's a shorter hook, and I told you that right off the bat. It is rubbing me in a weird way at the palm of my hand. I'm trying to give it a fair shake. 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm just doing a granny square. We keep it super simple. Sometimes with these wooden hooks, if there's significant drag, the more you use them, the drag will smooth out a little bit. And I don't know if it's because of whatever they coat the hook in. I don't know what they coat the hook in. They could coat it in wax. They could coat it in a varnish. It might just be excess resin on there. I don't have a clue. But sometimes with wooden hooks, they will eventually like smooth out a little bit. I'm just going to turn and do the next row. The downfall with some of the Furls hooks that people have a problem with is this part right here. That is exceedingly sharp. It's very, very thin. I don't know if it's prone to break off because I haven't put enough wear and tear on my wood or my resin hooks to cause any breakage to happen. But that has been an issue with me and with some other people that I've talked to in the yarn community. And so that is one thing to consider with this hook. And all of the Odyssey don't have that as much, but the wood and the resin definitely do. Or is it resin? Yeah, resin. Is this a horrible hook to work with? So far, so good. Like, it's not really bothering me. If you hear rubbing, that is my arm. I mean, I can lift my arm up and see. That noise is the hook. It's a little bit noisy, and that does bother some people. Try to be as quiet with my breathing as possible. It was loud. There's dog hair on this because it is in my scrap bin. We don't care. We're just working up assembly. Assembly. I wonder what my largest size wood hook is over there. I also thought about comparing this with the resin hook because this does have the resin in it, but this part of the hook does not really affect how you're crocheting because it's really just there for decoration. Is it a beautiful hook? Yes. It's like a piece of art. And if you look at it like it's a piece of art, if you want to invest in this to display it on a shelf as a work of art, is it worth the price then? Yes. I think this would be beautiful as a piece of art on it. Look at that. That looks so pretty next to each other. It makes a beautiful, beautiful thumbnail. Let's get it nice and lit up. Well, that might be too bright. It's beautiful, right? Is it practical for your everyday crocheter? Probably not. This is not a hook I'm going to reach for a lot. I'm not enjoying working with it. I'm going to grab a wooden hook and a resin hook, and we're going to do a side-by-side. My most comparable hooks to the Odyssey from Furls, and I'm going Furls to Furls. I'm not comparing apples to oranges. I'm doing apples to apples. Although I know some of you will argue that is not apples to apples. It's like apples to applesauce. But I'm gonna do a full. I really want to think about this as I'm crocheting. This is an L hook. My closest size wood and resin hooks to it are K's. So this is 6.5. This is a 7mm hook. So we're gonna crochet, but we're also gonna do a side by side. I showed you guys in the intro. There is a vast difference in the size of those hooks. That's about an inch. That is a lot. And if you're used to a longer hook with a longer shaft, that's going to be a problem for you. Smoothness. Honestly, there's a little bit of non-smoothness with the Odyssey. Like, this is very smooth. This is very slick, it feels polished. This feels a little rougher, and like I said, maybe that will change with wear and tear and usage. That is an absolute possibility because this is a natural product. It is made out of wood. So there's that. Side by side, the head is a little bit different. This is more pointy, and the part right here is more pointy. It is a different size, but it's not a different size enough I mean, it's a 0.5 millimeter different. That's like nothing. So that is going to affect it as well. Like I said, this is already sharp on these ones, but this is extra long. Look at that. It's extra long. The head is a little bit different shaped. I'm going to work up. I want to put this back in its fancy little box. And I'm going to try to work with the regular streamline hooks from Furls and see and I pulled my hands up off of the mat so I'm not making noise with my arms. It still makes the same noise. It does feel smoother and not as I don't know what the word is. It's not rough. It's just this one is smoother than that one. which for $100 hook, like I would want it to be smooth. I want extra care taken for that hook to be the best hook that it could possibly be. I realized that the artistry, the artisan, whatever, I realized making that hook is a more labor intensive process than putting it on a lathe. Like this is probably just made on a lathe and hand carved. But I would want for $100 for that extra smoothness to be there, and it's just not. And there's also a drastic price difference between this wood hook, that's just a wooden solid hook, and that one. I mean, a lot difference. I will check current prices and pop them up on the screen while this is filming, because I haven't bought a wood one in quite a while, and so I'm not sure what the price is right currently. As we have known, if we've been watching this channel for a long time, the Furls Odyssey are my favorite hooks. They're the ones I spend my money on most often. Is this one a drastically better hook than that one? No. Not at all. Is that one any better than this one? No. Not at all. It's one of the reasons I was disappointed with that hook. I had higher expectations. Like, Furls is known for quality. They absolutely are. And that one just let me down. I had really, really big, high expectations. And I just felt like I was let down. All right, so with that one, side by side, the regular Furls wooden streamline hooks, crochet is better than this one. Just because there is a bit of roughness on that head that should not be there. And it's not, let's see if we can really see. It's not, let me block the light a little bit. It's not rough, but it's not as slick, as smooth as this one. And that may also have something to do with the type of wood that these are made out of. Like, all of their wooden hooks, the different colored hooks, are made out of different wood. And if you've been around any woodworker for any amount of time, you will know that wood definitely is different between species, between trees. They work differently. They have different benefits. These are both very, very lightweight. This one might be a smidge heavier. But like I said, my mail scale doesn't even register these because they're so lightweight. All right, so now let's compare this to the Streamline, what are these called? Swirls. Streamline Swirls. This is actually my least favorite hook because it's almost all brown and I wanted to have more red in it. However, it does have some beautiful coppery glitter in there. So I use this hook least because of the color. Yes, I am very much, I get inspired by color. So, now, the difference between, we're going to compare these two together because this one is nothing like that one, even though there's resin in the center of the body of that. There's no similarities. And I have compared these side by side before, feeling them with my eyes closed. I can slightly feel the difference between the wood and the resin. Because the wood has, and I'm legit sitting here with my eyes closed. The wood, you can feel the grain in it almost. Like, you can almost feel the grain, but with my eyes closed, not with my eyes open. Whereas the resin is more, it's smoother. It's much smoother. Not as, and I've worked with these before, so I'm going to tell you there's not as much drag on these as the wood hooks. But it's so minor that, like, I don't have, like, a definite preference between the wood and the acrylic. However, listen. The sound is not as drastic with the resin hook. So to do a side-by-side comparison after I have worked with all three of these hooks, do I have a clear favorite of the three? Probably the resin hook, the Streamline Swirls. But it's so close. Like, I feel like these hooks are kind of interchangeable at this point, which really brings me back to the price point of this. I cannot justify spending the money on that hook. It's not an exceptional hook. It is not a fantastic hook. I would love to tell you this is an amazing hook. It's worth the money. I would love to tell you that. I was so excited to order it and be able to get one, and I was so disappointed by it. I don't like the size. I don't like how rough the head is. And I think, is it better to buy several of these for the same price? Yes. This is a better hook. It's a better hook. It's a way better price range, especially if you can get a sale on these. I'm going to say go with the Streamline Swirls if you absolutely want a Furls hook. Go with the Streamline Swirls. My favorite, obviously, is the Odyssey, which is a metal hook, which I should probably have on here. Let me see if I can reach it. There we go. These are my favorite. These are my favorite. These are the winner. These are smooth. These don't exactly fit into this category at all. These are like $30 for one. So for, you get 3 for the price of this Alpha. That is not an Alpha. This is an Alpha. Let me just tell you. This is the Alpha. That's the clear winner. I apologize for coughing. I don't think the Alpha series is worth the money. It's not anything spectacular. If you want to display this as a work of art on your shelf, I mean, it's beautiful. It is absolutely stunning. It is a beautiful piece of art, but it is not a valuable tool, in my opinion. And if you disagree with me, that is fine. We are allowed to have different opinions. We are. You are allowed to love this hook. I just don't think it's worth the money, and I feel like I got ripped off a little bit. I still love Furls. I think Furls is an amazing company. I love their hooks. I love their yarn. I was really disappointed by this, and I'm bummed out to tell you that, because I wanted to, I was so excited I was going to do a review, and I had all these ideas in my head, and now I'm just like, well, it will be pretty on the shelf, because that's probably where it's going to go. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Don't let nobody tell you it's not beautiful. It is stunning. But it's not a good tool. So, from my house to yours, this is my humble opinion. And, yeah, if you decide to buy some Furls hooks, any of the ones that I have shown you today, I do have an affiliate link. And it does help support the channel when you purchase from those affiliate links. But this was an honest opinion from someone who is very picky about her hooks. I'm very particular. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning into this review, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.